What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. So it is Monday, July 20th, 2020. And we're just going to wait for a couple of people to jump in the room. And here we go. This is My Political Truth, and my name is Gerry Tomchinsky. Welcome back. After a little break this weekend, just felt like taking a little backseat to politics, and of course I couldn't stay away, you know. Things are so out of sorts in this country where there's no way that I can avoid looking at something regarding politics, listening to some nonsense that I don't want to hear. And, you know, let's just, I got a lot to talk about today, so let's just pick it up from the top. And let's do what I've been doing every Monday, and let's talk about the violence in Chicago and in New York this past weekend. So Chicago, we got 64 people shot, 12 people dead. Get that? 63 people shot, 12 people dead. New York City, 125 total shootings through the first 3 weeks of July. That is a 135% increase from the same 3-week period last year. And nobody's doing anything. Nobody is doing anything, okay? Portland, Oregon, we got, again, all hell breaking loose because these Democrat-run cities are allowing these rioters and these criminals and these savages to run roughshod over their cities, and nobody's doing anything. But the cities that President Trump is doing something on, they're complaining. Why are the federal agents being so rough on the rioters? Well, if you idiots would have done the job yourself, the federal government wouldn't have to involve themselves. Our biggest cities are burning. We're losing our biggest cities by the day. By the day. And nobody's doing anything. There's no problem. Yeah, absolutely. Andrew, Portland's always been full of nutbags, without a doubt. But what's going on now is completely and utterly unacceptable. Then you got these idiots like AOC coming on and saying that this violence is going on because people want to shoplift bread to feed their families. It's not about that. And for all you imbeciles that voted for her, that support her, that retweet the garbage that she says, that post pictures of her claiming that she's something, she's nothing. And you idiots that voted for her are less than she is. I'm done sugarcoating. I'm totally done sugarcoating. You know, I come on here night after night and I try to deliver the facts, the truth, to the best of my ability, right? And then, you know, a good journalist doesn't get emotionally involved. Well, I'm not a journalist. Okay? I'm a citizen of the United States of America, and what's going on in my country is a freaking embarrassment. And what? I gotta listen to these Democratic idiots talking about coronavirus numbers, listen to me. This is now 12 straight weeks that the death toll from coronavirus has went down. 12 straight weeks of the death toll going down. So enough with the fear mongering and all the BS about coronavirus. This is just the Democrats and Joe Biden's strategy so they don't have to release him to the public. How are you going to release this guy to the public? He doesn't even know what he's running for. You promise him a cookie and some orange juice afterwards, he'll say whatever you ask him to say. He doesn't know what his own freaking policies are. Honestly, this could be considered elder abuse. What the DNC is doing to Joe Biden can be considered elder abuse. That man has no idea what the hell his policies are. One day he's preaching the policies of Comrade Bernie Sanders, and the next day he's talking about keep jobs in America. Well, it can't be both, Joe. And the millennial writer that you have writing for you should make a chart differentiating it. Because your candidate doesn't know the difference between socialism, capitalism, or any ism. And I gotta watch this. I gotta listen to these BS coronavirus numbers when they're taking one person's test, and let's say, I'll give you an example of what other fraudulent stuff they're doing. Let's say they test one person, and that person needs to be retested before they go to work. So if there was one positive test, then they send them back to get another test, and let's say that's a positive test. They never differentiate saying, oh, well, this is one test, 3 tests for the same person. They just take whatever positive tests they come across their desk, and they check off the positive column, and then report these ridiculous numbers that hold absolutely no water. Because if coronavirus was as dangerous and as deadly as they promised back in February and March, then these new second wave numbers would jive with the death numbers. But no, the death numbers are now declining for the 12th straight week. 12 straight weeks, the death numbers are declining. But you don't hear about that. You don't hear about any of that, right? Come on. New York City, overall, to this year, to this point of the year, as compared to last year, shootings are up 340%. 340%. And you guys want to push, they want to push BS coronavirus numbers? Good God, man. How do I feel about Kanye? You know what? Kanye West is the least of our problems right now. He's the least of our freaking problems. You know, I used to think Kanye was nuts. But then I put him next to the Democrats of today. He's the sanest I've ever seen. Good God Almighty. When Kanye is your best option, you got serious problems. Your problems go way, way beyond being a Democrat or Republican. If Kanye West is your best option for president, and listen, if he would run on a Democratic ticket, he might be a threat. Because we know Joe Biden ain't a threat. Listen to me. I'm going to say this right here. The only way the Democrats win is if they rig this election. I refuse to believe that the majority of people in this country can be that ignorant. No, absolutely not. You got things going on like Again, this brilliant press secretary President Trump has, Kayleigh McEnany. The other day, she calls Mayor Lightfoot out of Chicago a derelict mayor, which, how is she not? How is she not a derelict mayor? She can't protect her people. She's literally in denial about what's going on, and she comes back and actually refers to Kayleigh as Karen. Now, if that isn't one of the most racist remarks made publicly, then I don't know what is. Mayor Lightfoot, you have the audacity to open your mouth against anybody? You should sit in your house with the shades drawn and not come out until somebody says Beetlejuice 3 times. Are you kidding me? How Lightfoot, de Blasio, Jenny Durkin in Seattle, Frey in Minneapolis, how these disgusting people that could call themselves mayors, how they're still in power, I don't know. I have no idea. And she has the audacity to say something to Kayleigh, who's probably the classiest woman on TV. She takes one misstep the other day, and that scumbag Jim Acosta from CNN, from the Communist News Network, completely shreds her, where she corrected herself 30 seconds later. And they purposely take the video out of context. But yet, I got Democrats, I got liberals, I got these psychopaths making ignorant comments like the only people that can back up Trump are the ones that don't know anything about politics. Well, what do you know about politics? You tell me. Goddamn imbecile. You're the one that voted in de Blasio and Cuomo and every other degenerate Democrat that's in office in New York City, aside from maybe one or two. But the ones that are more moderate, they're afraid to speak up because God forbid you say anything to these new Democrats, these Marxists, these communists, they come back and bite your head off with insults, with savagery, with racism. The racism they accuse people like us of, they master. They master that kind of freaking racism. So they want to be hypocritical? They don't like something, so they want to take it away from the entire population? Well, if you don't like something, how about you don't go near it and leave us the hell alone? Continuing on these liberal media rags, you got Fredo on CNN. This idiot comes on and says, show me where it says protests are supposed to be peaceful. In the First Amendment, you dunce. The First Amendment says that we have the right to assemble peacefully. The minute that peaceful assembly turns violent, it's no longer a protest. It is now a riot. And these idiots get millions to be on TV. He can't even crack 1 million viewers a night. He comes on. He swears on TV. He says outlandish statements like that, like I just quoted. Brings his imbecile brother on to talk about their mother's meatballs. Like I give a crap. Hey, Fredo number 1 and Fredo number 2, you should have sent your mom to the nursing homes that you sent the 6,000 other elderly that you killed. that you're responsible for, on top of the 32,000 other dead New Yorkers. And you have the audacity to go on these channels patting yourself on the back? Listen, and I'm pretty sure everybody here will back me up. If I did my job as crappy as these liberals did, I wouldn't have a job. I mean, I just don't understand. We're the taxpayers. They work for us. So the only way de Blasio can be removed from office is if Cuomo does it? And for what? To bring in that other punk, Jumaane Williams, who's even worse than de Blasio? If that's even possible. I mean, Jumaane Williams is right from the AOC school of thinking. And this is one of those schools. This is another brilliant thought that Ms. Cortez had this weekend. And I quote, because please don't ever think that I would say some degenerately stupid stuff like this. This is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and I quote, "The way that Congress gave that money to these corporations was in a way that was almost like a down payment on a loan, literally. What if we use that same instrument to suspend all mortgage payments in the United States? Then you can actually cancel rent." I swear to God, that's what this idiot said. The voice and the impersonation, that was extra. But this is word for word. I literally just quoted what this idiot said. She said cancel rent. So if the government pulls out another X trillion amount of dollars, she thinks if this money is broken down and given to, say, a homeowner that's renting their property out, and we get another, what, $1,200 check, and that's okay. We could cancel rent. Woohoo! Like, literally. Somebody needs to teach this girl what capitalism is, because she absolutely has no idea. Like, we could cancel rent. Like, literally. Oh, my God. And they put her on TV with no shame. They put this idiot on TV with no shame. I don't know, man. I don't know. This, I don't have much hope in the future of this country if President Trump doesn't win on November 3rd. We got very big problems if President Trump doesn't win on November 3rd. And again, I believe this wholeheartedly. If President Trump does not win, it will be because the Democrats rigged the election. Pardon me. Without a doubt. There's no possible way, no way, that they could win this straight up. Yeah, Chris, it's scary that educated black people are ashamed of their culture. You know what's even scarier? That these, I'm not going to say educated white people, because these white people are not educated. These white people that are ashamed to be white and think that they or their family have anything to do with slavery or racism, unless they're actively racist, and, you know, that's their guilt talking, and that's fine. But yeah, mail-in ballots, Charles. Yeah, for sure. Because that'll be straight up. Come on, man. I trust the floor of Coney Island Hospital more than I would mailing in my ballot for president. I would literally lick the floor of Coney Island Hospital and take my chances rather than trust my ballot that these Democrats won't break them. They won't fix them. Come on. And it's only the Democrats that'll say, oh, it'll be fair. It'll be fair. Yeah, I got your fair swinging. It'll be fair. Chicago's top cop, he said publicly that he would welcome any help President Trump could provide. He's literally like that guy in the, that person in the movies that's been kidnapped, and he's got a sign in the window, and he's doing like this thing, like he's doing this thing. Yeah, that's what the top cop of Chicago's doing. He's like, help, please, because the mayor will not do a goddamn thing. She's too busy worrying about what Kayleigh McEnany is saying about her. That's what she's concerned about. She's not concerned that 63 people were shot in 41 separate shooting incidents this weekend in Chicago and that 12 of these people are dead. That's not a concern. These people are disgusting. They're repulsive. I literally have... I'm running out of adjectives to call these people. And again, the people that run for these offices, that's their job. They signed up to be scumbags. They sold their soul immediately. Who I hold responsible and who I will continue to hold responsible are the idiots that vote them in. And actually believe that the Democrats really give a crap about you, your family, your job, your possessions, or your country, or your freedoms. Because believe me when I tell you, they don't care about your freedoms. Quite the contrary. They want to take your freedoms and slowly pull them back. They want you to have no ownership of anything, no stake in anything. And the fact that, I don't know, half the population doesn't see that or refuses to see it or is not smart enough to see it it's a tough pill to swallow. It's a very tough pill to swallow. So, evil cretin number one, Nancy Pelosi, comes out this weekend and says that Confederate generals were traitors and that former speakers of the House that supported the Confederacy are also traitors. Okay? They say that anybody that supports the Confederacy or anything that is perceived to be Confederate, including the flag and the statues, should be deemed treasonous. Well, let me ask you this, Nance. What do you call Black Lives Matter? They hate the country. They hate our way of life. The 3 women that founded Black Lives Matter are admitted Marxists. They're admitted terrorists. And these idiots want to vote in a Democrat? When they go on TV, when they go on the news night after night and lie, and there's still people fighting for the Democrats. There's still people that support them. Gerry, do you think the shootings and how they are downplayed are mostly Dems? Do you think this is a ploy to say Trump has no control of this country? Yes and no. And Chris, I think that President Trump is going to actually turn it around and use what's going on in these cities to his advantage. So I think with an executive order, President Trump could have already went in and cleaned up Chicago, New York, Seattle, Portland, no problems. But I really think that he's giving all these mayors more than enough rope to hang themselves. And that's exactly what they're doing. And what he needs to do, and what he's going to do, I firmly believe this is a strategy, him being the law and order candidate, he's going to swoop into these cities. I would give it maybe another 2 to 3 weeks. And if de Blasio and Lightfoot and Frey and Durkin and the like don't do anything, President Trump will. And by doing so, he's going to show the citizens of these cities that either A, are not Republican by, I guess, registration or whatever, or have never been a Republican. I think by taking these cities back, he's actually going to win over a lot of people. Because, again, if you look at these cities, the people that are being affected most by all this violence are not the ones that live in the suburbs. It's the ones that live in the cities, in the inner cities, in the projects. Those are the ones that are suffering the most because they're basically hostages in their own home right now. And there's really, I mean, it's heart-wrenching to see what goes on in these cities and that these Democrat mayors are doing nothing. De Blasio is more concerned with painting some garbage on the street and than he is about protecting his own citizens. If somebody could come out and say that the jails are emptier than they've ever been and the city's never been safer and actually believe that, then I'm sorry, there's no helping a person like that. Let's see what Charles says here. Democrats create problems to blame on Trump, then say they will fix the problems to get the votes, but won't if elected. Of course. Of course, they've had... Listen, Charles, between Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi, they have 125 years of service between Congress and the Senate. What the hell have they done? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. This is the kind of stuff that they want to do. In Missouri, Mark and Patricia McCluskey, if you guys remember, they're the ones that were holding the guns up that, you know, everybody dubbed Ken and Karen because they were protecting their home from the savages that came in through their gate and threatened their home. So now the DA in wherever they live over there in Missouri has charged them both with unlawful use of a weapon, a freaking felony, because they were protecting their home. Well, let me tell you something. I give credit to Mark and Patricia McCluskey for not pulling the trigger. Because if I lived in a home and somebody penetrated my gates and I had a fully automatic weapon, sorry, you crossed the threshold of my property and pose a single threat to my family, then you should be prepared not to leave. And they're being brought up on charges for unlawful use of a weapon. They used a weapon to protect themselves. Do you think if they didn't have those weapons, these animals would have left? You think they would have left? They wouldn't have left. They would have pushed forward, and God knows what would have happened to the McCluskeys. I always say, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. That's just me. And I really hope that these charges do not stick at all. I can't believe we're basically 30 minutes in. I got so much more I want to talk about, but we'll save that for tomorrow. Again, we're going to finish off with a quote as usual. And this one comes from H.L. Mencken. The whole aim of practical politics is to keep the populace alarmed and hence clamorous to be led to safety by menacing it with endless series of hobgoblins, all of them imaginary. Does that sound familiar? Thank you for joining me. Have a great night. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Same time, same group. Later.